Joining me in the IHRSA Live studio is Garrett Marshall, CEO of Fitness on Demand. And you're getting a nice break from that winter Minnesota weather, aren't you?
Absolutely.
So you liking LA so far?
Yeah, it's definitely a weather upgrade.
So tell us a little bit about your company, Fitness on Demand.
So we're a technology provider. We build fitness delivery products for media and programming.
So what sort of new innovative things are you expecting to bring to IHRSA 2017?
So our big announcement this year is an overhaul of our group label, which is a product line that's designed for group training spaces, both small group zones and also group fitness studios.
Now, is this a global product or is this something that just can be launched in the US?
It is global. So today we're in about 30 countries and most of those are the English-speaking parts of the world.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what are you hoping to gain out of you being here at IHRSA 2017?
Well, you know, this show for us, there's definitely an ROI when it comes to lead generation for new business, but it's also about, you know, servicing all of our channel partners who generally participate in this show and solidifying and cementing strategic partnerships.
Now, you're somebody who has been to IHRSA before, so why do you guys keep on coming back here?
Yeah, I guess I would sum it up by just saying that it's an extremely productive use of our time. The business was launched around 6 years ago, and I think we've exhibited at 5 of the 6 shows since then. So for all the reasons aforementioned, it's just a very effective use of our time.
And what do you feel is the greatest benefit out of being an IHRSA exhibitor?
Gosh, I mean, it'd be hard to nail it down to one thing because there are multiple facets to why you participate in a show like this. But I think if I had to sum it up, it'd be exposure, right, through all of those different layers of how you can do business at the show.
Absolutely, and due to that exposure, you are now one of IHRSA's rising stars. So we should be looking out for you for a reason.
I guess that's what they say.
What good stuff do you have to bring us this year?
Geez, like I said, we've got a really strong presence this year. We've got about 800 square feet. It's always a great show for trend casting. So being a technology company, I love to be here and to interface and networks with some of the other technology businesses just to get a sense of where the industry's going.
So let's talk about you a little bit, Garrett. How did you get into the business? What inspired you?
Geez, well, I can answer that in 2 ways. How I got involved and also why I've stayed. I would say in terms of getting involved, it was a complete fluke. So I was always involved in sports and athletics growing up, and let's see, so at the time I was playing hockey in the SHL, which is in Canada, and I got to a place where I had to have 2 shoulder surgeries. So I had moved back to Minnesota, which is where I lived and played hockey before, and I was kind of like at the college age, so I had no money whatsoever, and I was simply looking for a way to get a free membership so that I could rehab and get back to hockey. At least that was the plan. And I still couldn't tell you to this day why I had the certificate, but I had a Red Cross instructor safety certificate which licensed me to teach swimming lessons. So I got a job with Lifetime Fitness teaching swimming lessons to kids in exchange for a free membership. And at that point I was hooked. I fell in love with the brand. I love the culture of that business. And I guess I've stayed with it ever since because I think fitness is one of those few vocations where we get a very direct and transparent feedback on making people feel better.
I think the great thing about your story, Garrett, is that we see a great transcendence of your career. Even though it's been in fitness, you've kind of recreated yourself throughout the process over the last 8 to 10 years. So what kind of information do you have to give to those people at home that are feeling stuck in their career and don't know what to do next? What could you say to them?
Yeah, it's always tough because I interview people all of the time who are working into an industry that they had a education around, or they're completely off the radar from where they got their education. So I think for me, number one, find an organization, a role, or an idea that you can be passionate about. Because I think having conviction over what you do, and maybe even more importantly how you do it, has the ability to offset a lot of the other challenges that we experience in our work and in our life. So for me, that's provided the perseverance. It's paid off over time.
That's fantastic. So let's talk about a little bit of the buzz we have here at IHRSA regarding the FIT Act. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, I am. So
would you mind discussing your perspective on the FIT Act and what influence you think it's going to have on clubs and businesses like your own?
Yeah, I think it's got a very holistic strategy around it. It seems to make economic sense for all parties involved, and I think at its core it's just getting government to make a repatriation of dollars which would otherwise be tax revenue towards getting people healthier. And we know that in doing that it comes with a lot of other added benefits and byproducts.
So we know that IHRSA has contributed to our personal success being here over and over again, but what do you think you've contributed to IHRSA over the last 8 years of you being here?
Oh gosh. It's a difficult question for me to answer. I think through my tenure in the industry, I've had the extraordinary opportunity to work with some of the brightest businesses and underneath some of the most successful entrepreneurs in fitness. So, my most meaningful contributions are always the ones that I've been able to partake in as part of a team. So, some of the noteworthy milestones would be, the IPO of Lifetime Fitness in 2003, 2004, and in my I guess scope of exhibiting at IHRSA, I've launched 2 fit tech startups that have each received collectively 4 Inc. 5000 nominations, recognizing their rapid growth.
Now, seeing all of the successes that you've experienced, what is the biggest challenge that you think is facing the fitness industry in the year 2017?
Okay, I think that I'll give you the good and the bad. I think the great news is that we're definitely seeing a spike in consumer health awareness, and I think a lot of that's being driven by wearable devices. You've got people that are suddenly paying attention to things that they know now are on trend that they've never maybe paid attention to in the past. But I wouldn't say that there's an equal or a parallel increase in consumer health education. So I think it creates a giant opportunity for the industry and for us as a commercial fitness and wellness industry to step in and provide that answer or solution.
That's great. And do you think technology innovation has a big part of where the fitness industry is going over the next decade?
I think it does, and I mean, you see that across every industry, even non-fitness especially. I think a lot of times we tend to be behind that innovation curve in fitness. So, I'm always too quick to link innovation with technology, and they're not always the same. But no doubt, I think technology is the biggest contributor towards innovation.
And if you could sum up your IHRSA experience in one word, what would it be?
It's tough. I'll stick with productive.
Productive.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Garrett
you.
Marshall, live here at the IHRSA studio in Los Angeles, 2017.